Hello, YouTube. So, coming back to you with some advice for how to make your games more enjoyable and more fun with RPG tips for you. So, today I have a very important one that I don't really see discussed very often, but it's really important to talk about today. And just to introduce you, this right here is my character sheet, also known as the mask in the game that I'm playing, for Within the Ring of Fire. This particular character is Bryce Pyralis Hycro, my character in that game. You can see the sessions online here on YouTube with Hell and Back. I suggest you go check it out. It's been a blast. Just been a great campaign. But the reason I am showing you this character sheet is, what does this mask or character sheet have on it? Well, we got some stats, we got a name, species, all sorts of stuff on here. Skills, health gauge, how much hits he can take, and that's all well and good. Lots of numbers and words on there. But what is it really? A mask or a character sheet, it's a story. There is a story contained on these sheets. It's not just a set of numbers. There's a story that goes along with every number, every word that's put on this page. There's a story behind it. Now, when I say keep your character sheet in character, this is what I mean. I mean, there needs to be a story behind everything you put on your character sheet. Now, your reaction initially might be, holy crap, that's a lot of work. Well, it's really not. If you've taken time to think about where your character is from, who he is, what was his background. These are things that you should easily be able to answer when you create a fully formed character. So let's take something for example. So when you're creating a character, every skill you get, there should be a story behind how you got that skill. So for example, my character has, he started off with 5 grades in culinary. And that's a lot. That's about as high as you can get for a starting character. Now, why did he have stats that high in culinary? Because he grew up in a temple of a goddess who is the goddess of cooking. So he, of course, knows tons and tons about cooking. So that's my point, is that, you know, even if you only have one single point in a skill, there should be a story behind how did you get that point? How did you learn to ride? How did you how did you learn to survive in the outdoors? Who taught you this? And this can apply to feats or advantages or disadvantages. There should be a story behind these things. How did you learn how to fight? Who taught you how to fight? Who taught you how to fish? Who taught you your book knowledge? Who taught you how to read and write? These are important things to know. You don't have to know every single last detail necessarily. You don't need to know the names of every person who came from your past, but you should at least have a generalized idea of where did your abilities come from? How did you become the person? How did your character become the person they are today? And that's important. But there's a second component to all this. Not only right when you begin, when you start, when you make your character, should you know how they got these abilities. There's something else important. As you level up, as you get more abilities, as you get more experience, as your character gains these things, when they have the opportunity to gain skills or gain advantages or feats or whatever you might call it, whatever sort of abilities, even if they gain stat increases, you should have an in-character reason. You should be able to justify that increase in ability. If you can't do that, it doesn't belong on your character sheet. That's my main message for you here today. If you have something on your character sheet or your mask or whatever you call it that doesn't belong, that there's no story behind it, that there's no reason why it's there, it doesn't belong on your character sheet. Take it. You might as well take it off. There's no reason to have it there. So as you level up, for example, let's say let's be prototypical. Let's say I'm a fighter in D&D. I have my class is fighter. And next level, I desire to be, I want to gain a level in fighter. Well, let's say I want to increase my my ability of fighting. Well, honestly, as I level up, I should be, before I level up, I should be fighting to justify, that's my in-character reason for why I'm gaining abilities in fighting. Maybe D&D is not a very good example, but within the Ring of Fire, when I gain grades or skill points in things like my ability to fight, I should be fighting beforehand before I gain those abilities. If I want to go up in Carpenter, for example, which I did, I have to in-game say that I'm going to go visit a carpenter. I'm going to go. You have to have these in-character reasons for gaining skill points, gaining advantages. If you can't do that, you can't. I don't think you should be able to put it on your character sheet. That's just something I believe. I think that's a very important thing. And also, there might be unplanned. You might want to be gaining levels in fighter, but maybe in character you study with the wizards for a while. You gain some of their knowledges. Perhaps instead of fighting, you gain abilities in magic use instead, just because that's what you did in character. You weren't out there fighting the orcs. You were studying with the wizards. So it makes more sense for your character to gain spell abilities or knowledges in arcane or in magic. That just makes more sense to me. Everything on your character sheet, again, as I've said before, you need to have a reason behind everything you put on your character sheet. If there's no in-character reason, if you didn't do something in character, you can't put it down. Now, the consequence of this, the great thing about this is that it makes your character's progression, getting stronger, it makes that it's an epic journey. It's a story. Your character's journey becomes a story. Sure, it might take them, for example, my character, Bryce, he wants to become a druid of Morgul, but it's been 7 sessions and he's not there yet. He hasn't had the opportunity to study at the Temple of Morgul. He hasn't spoken to any priests, so I can't justify him gaining spell abilities, so he will not gain any abilities in priestly divine powers until he studies with the priests there, the priestesses and the priests there. Otherwise, he can't do it. If he doesn't study with a carpenter or learn from someone who knows how to do carpentry, he can't gain abilities in carpentry. That's just the way it is. And you have to be, this route of doing games, it might take a long time and it requires some patience, but let me tell you, the payoff is great. Just the stories I can tell from the character that I have made, from characters I've made in the past, it's so great. I highly recommend it. Again, keep your character sheet in character. Make sure there's an in-character reason for everything you have on your sheet. This has been Andrew. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any comments, questions, if you disagree with me, if you agree with me, be sure and put it down in the comments. We'll have a nice little discussion down there. Thank you so much for tuning in, and you have a great day.